Cautious Hero was absolutely hilarious and loved by many, but even among its large audience, there is very few people that noticed even a fraction of these details. For example, did you notice how 15 seconds into the very first episode of Cautious Hero, we are shown every god and goddess that will be important to the story? Or, did you notice how in this scene, Cerseus can be seen sitting in the middle of the cafeteria, but 3 seconds later we clearly see him sitting against the wall? There is many more details to cover, including 4 moments that foreshadowed Seiya's tragic backstory. But for now, my name is Unseen Whispers, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. And how about you take a moment to guess what waifu you think this is? It is no secret that our protagonist Seiya is extremely popular with the ladies, even to the point of having literal deities fawning over him. I mean, even my wife started watching this anime without me. And you know, I can't even be mad at her. I mean, look at this guy. Damn! Anyways, early on in the anime, we often find Seiya to be in his room working out. Once we move past the fact that Seiya doing push-ups somehow makes this obnoxiously loud noise, we get to a scene where Restarte walks in on a shirtless Seiya. Just as you'd expect, we get the normal anime nosebleed reaction. But what you didn't notice is that the miniature Restarte doll also gets a nosebleed. Sadly, Seiya had to put his shirt back on as his training was rudely interrupted by this crystal ball. Look, I understand that slaughtering innocent people is usually a bad thing, like at least 95% of the time, but I don't understand how this crystal ball is showing this video so smoothly. Rista said time flows 100 times faster in the Divine Realm, so shouldn't this crystal ball be displaying this video in super slow motion? Moving on, the battle between Seiya and Chaos Machina begins, and Rista can be seen just hanging out on this porch. Oh, wait a second, did she just disappear? This comedic battle comes to a close, with Seiya becoming a hero to the town. Well, for a few minutes at least. But during that moment, Rista takes some time to enjoy Seiya's good smell. Take a moment to think about this. Seiya just finished working out, then immediately battled Chaos Machina. He is almost guaranteed to smell of sweat and BO. So, Rista, that's completely disgusting. Skipping past a few humorous events, we find our hero in his room synthesizing items. This is the same scene where the mirror gets delivered and we find out Mushroom has been kidnapped by Death Magula. During all of this, we get 3 separate but solid images of the room, and each time the items on the floor have changed ever so slightly. Honestly, I'm impressed these 3 images are as similar as they are, because it had to be a total pain trying to get it perfect. Now, in order to save Toadstool, Seiya has to confront Death Magula and his strongest minion, Dark Furus. This battle goes the same as before, with Seiya wiping the floor with the opponent, but we do get this interesting exchange of words. For some reason, I can't help but feel like I've seen this battle of wits somewhere before.
You would have counted on it, so I can clearly not choose the wine in front of me.
With 2 of the 4 Heavenly Kings defeated, our hero sets out to find the legendary sword that can defeat the Demon Lord. It just so happens the sword can only be acquired inside this dark cave, which was found thanks to Max and Elu's glowing hands. Inside the cave, our group is using torches to light the path, which just seems kinda pointless since Seiya uses fire magic. I mean, it would make much more sense to use Automatic Phoenix. I mean, it would be able to light the way, plus attack any potential enemies. Also, shouldn't Mushroom's hands still be glowing since they haven't opened the sealed door yet? I guess it doesn't matter since Seiya decides to just manhandle the sealed door anyways, thus our heroes proceed deeper into the cave and step on a teleporter, then boom, Dragon Country. Skip forward a bit, and the Dragon Queen is getting naked for Seiya. I'm definitely not taking the scene out of context, I don't know why you would think that, but I can't figure out why they chose to censor her chest in this scene, but went ahead and showed everything in this scene. All I know is that Seiya and the Dragon Queen proceed to have a disagreement over the kids, which Seiya could have won much easier if he would just pushed her off the side instead of pushing her all the way to the tip of the ramp. After winning the custody battle, Seiya and the children are immediately summoned to yet another problem. This time, there's a puppy who has a serious case of fleas, and she just needs help getting rid of them. While Seiya is disciplining the puppy for trying to bite him, Rista comments something like, "What is this, the 1930s?" Now this comment is absolutely hilarious, but seems extremely out of character since Rista has already stated the gods watch over 3,000 different worlds. Plus, Rista has already shown a significant lack of knowledge about their current world, Gaia Brande. So why would we believe she knows something as specific as that about Earth's history and culture? Anyways, in order to deal with the fleas, Seiya asks Bargain Brand Artemis to teach him to shoot a bow. Artemis doesn't decline, but states that if he can't handle it, she is willing to teach him something else. I don't know how, but somehow I completely overlooked this statement, not realizing it was actually foreshadowing for, well, you know. Having properly dealt with the fleas, Seiya sets off to battle Heavenly King number 3. Wait a second. Did anybody actually catch his name? No? Okay, one sec. Well, defeating Kilkapul was easy enough, but nobody ever expects the enemy to be using Martyrdom Pro. Having been dealt massive damage, Seiya has no choice but to retreat into the Divine Realm. Apparently forgetting he has the ability to fly, Seiya chooses to run all the way to the top of the tower because he knows Valkyrie is up there painting. And in case you are wondering, yes, Valkyrie is a horrible painter. This is a painting of Arya that we are shown inside Valkyrie's house, which we got to see while Seiya was training with Valkyrie. Using his newly acquired skills, Seiya proceeds to beat up an elderly man before going home to relax and take a nap. While at the inn, we can watch this chair mysteriously vanish, which just so happens to be right beside this bed. And assuming this is the same room as before, the bed is now facing in the opposite direction. So Seiya runs off to face the big bad guy all alone. But of course, since this is anime, we have to watch a flashback before we get to see the final battle. So during the flashback, Seiya fights this giant chimera, narrowly claiming victory. But if you pay attention, you will notice the background before and after the fight are completely different from one another. Now that the flashback is over, Seiya sacrifices himself to defeat the Demon Lord, then gets revived and does it all over again, except for the reviving part. Of course, Rista is mourning Seiya's death, but she is summoned by Ishtar to talk about her punishment. Rista has to pretty herself up, which leads to this mirror scene where I would argue this flower is missing from the reflection. Right before entering the meeting hall, Valkyrie calls Rista a second-rate goddess, which is actually a compliment because Valkyrie used to refer to Rista as a third-rate goddess. Rista then receives her punishment, and look at that, a nice, predictable, happy ending. Since the anime is over and you have watched the OP up to 12 times now, you can finally realize that Adenelle is shown twice during this part of the OP. Now that we know Seiya was summoned once before by Arya, there's a few scenes we need to take some time and revisit. First, we have this scene where Ishtar mentions how much Seiya has grown. On your first watch of Cautious Hero, you more than likely associated this line with Seiya finally showing some compassion for his allies. But Ishtar was actually referring to how much Seiya has grown since the first time he was summoned. Next, we have the scene where Seiya notices that Arya speaks to him rather informally. On the first watch, this line just kinda seems random and really out of place, but of course, now we know that it was foreshadowing for Seiya's tragic backstory. Then we have this scene, right after Seiya defeated the War Master. Seiya tells Pupper to talk to her father while he's still alive, which shows Seiya's regrets and sorrow toward losing his previous allies. Lastly, let's jump back to a conversation between Arya and Rista. Arya stands up to get more tea, but at that exact moment, Seiya walks into the room. This startles Arya, causing her to drop the teapot. Now, Rista believes this was because of Seiya's overwhelming good looks, but now we obviously know Arya was startled because Seiya was the hero she originally summoned while attempting to save the B-class world Exphoria. Another thing I noticed was that Arya picked up the teapot claiming she was going to get more tea, which implies that the teapot was empty. Yet whenever the teapot breaks, we can clearly see there was plenty of tea left in the teapot. So all four of those scenes were subtle foreshadowing of the fact that Seiya had been summoned once before as a hero. But if you are anything like me, you didn't notice any of them while watching Cautious Hero for the first time. As far as I know, we have not had an official announcement for a second season. I mean, it's an isekai that was very well received by the fans, so chances are we are going to get another season. The light novels are significantly ahead of the anime, so they have more than enough content to work with. So let me know in the comments, did you notice any of these details before watching this video? Or was there something I missed that should have been in this video? Then of course, how many of you were able to guess what waifu this is? It's Hestia from Danmachi. Would you like to see more videos in this sarcastic storytelling format? Personally, I had a blast making it. And with that, thanks for watching everyone. I hope to see you next time.